Rule changes, though. A lot of rule changes, and I'm curious your thoughts on them. Not only you, but the amazing viewers of the show. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think. To headline them, there's going to be a pitch timer, limits on the defensive shift, and bigger bases. One of the funniest things that I've seen is somebody did a picture. They photoshopped Altuve that was probably the size of a GI Joe and put it on a base. It said, "Here's a breaking look of Altuve on the new bases."
I haven't seen that yet. That's funny.
That's pretty good. So obviously these are going to go into effect in 2023. They had a test run in AAA. Apparently everything has gone well, and I do applaud the MLB for taking the best interest in the game. They're going to put in some rules, and they've seen some rules that just kind of stunk, and they've taken them out. But pretty much, I think a lot of the rules. And obviously, the whole thing is to get the game a little bit more fun to watch and a little bit quicker. All right, a lot of people, the younger generations especially, have a short attention span. So if these games are way too long, you're not going to get a lot of people to watch it. But hey, at least they're not doing robotic umpires yet, right?
Thank God. It's coming though.
Yeah, you never know. So pitch timer, the first one, obviously, in an effort to create a quicker pace of play, there's going to be a 30-second timer between batters. Between pitches, there's going to be a 15-second timer with the bases empty and a 20-second timer with runners on the base. At last check, the pitch timer had reduced the average time of an MLB, the MILB, by 26 minutes. So, hey, it's going to be a little bit quicker. Mm-hmm. And the rule, which includes limits on throws to first base, has also increased stolen base attempts, which is great for baseball. I love seeing people try to steal the base, even though when I drafted my fantasy team, I didn't draft really anybody to steal a base.
Those are hard to find.
They really are. And
it's like 5 of them.
Yeah, there's not a lot of big names here. But with this rule in place in the minors, this season steal attempts per game have increased from 2.23, which dated back to 2019 at a 68% success rate, to 2.83 in 2022 at a 77%. So hey, there we go. That's pretty cool. So before we break down that anymore, what's your thought on the pitch timer to speed it up a little bit?
I don't mind the timer part. I hate it, but I understand the thinking of it. I understand the idea. I understand the pace of play idea. With that being said, we have challenges.
Yep.
Now, if you're going to have challenges, obviously, if we didn't have any of this going on, trying to speed up the game, challenges would make games longer.
Very. Yep.
So they have the challenges, which I don't like. Because I would love it if they always got them right.
True.
But we have seen time and time again, less this year. So it's a growing thing. Mm-hmm. Less this year, but there's challenges that are not made correct after hours, which seems like hours, minutes of looking at it.
Yep. To touch on that, though, too, I think there's a little bit of maybe some pride with these umps to make the call the right call. So if it does go to replay, if it is a key moment there, they don't look a little, dumb or whatever, to put it lightly, that, hey, I messed this call up. So I don't know. I think it's a good thing, and I guess in that aspect, as far as that. But yeah, the timer. The
pace of play timer with the pitches. Was it Maddox? I think Maddox, Glavine, guys like that.
Yep.
They always like to work fairly quick anyways.
Yeah.
And it's, with some exceptions, it's kind of been the rule. Like if a pitcher works quick, like they talk about getting into a groove and everything like that, getting into momentum, a flow.
Yep.
I think pitchers pitch better. The game moves better when pitchers are going quicker anyway. So it's not a bad thing.
And I like it kind of takes away from the whole delaying to get a bullpen guy rested up.
Yes,
and I didn't like
agree
that.
with that.
And especially when, they throw over and throw over and throw over. Nobody truly loves it. I know it is kind of part of the game, but they are limited to 2 pickoff attempts or step-offs per plate appearance. So,
which I do not like.
I don't love that aspect. I truly don't. But there's kind of, it's been abused over the years. And I think that's what they have to. I also kind of, I don't know. If they violate the timer, they go past it, then it's an automatic ball if the pitcher breaks, goes past the time, and then if the batter does it, then it's an automatic strike.
And that's where I don't like it. So, if the pitcher throws over twice, if he throws over the third time, it's a balk.
No, right.
It's a balk.
Yep, they automatically. It doesn't go in the book as a balk, but they automatically advance. It is essentially a balk.
Right.
Yes,
it's essentially a balk,
but not in the stats.
And then if they take overtime, it's an extra ball or an extra strike if the batter does. Yep. That's the part I don't like. The same way I don't like mainly because I like the old school style of baseball.
Yep.
That all of a sudden they can be like, walk them. I get it. We're just going to toss over 4 balls. That takes time. But at the same time, if there's a runner on, toss over. Like if there's nobody on, you want to walk somebody, have at it. Rarely ever happens. If there's a runaround, the pitcher and catcher should have to play catch. Same thing with this. Like if you got a guy that can steal, he's dying to make sure you throw over twice, because after you throw over twice, he's going next pitch.
Yeah.
He might even jump early because you can't not throw over. You can't throw over.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of changes the facet, like the thinking facet part of the game.
Yep.
Because a pitcher with a runner on and a good hitter up is the best part of baseball for me, because everyone is thinking together.
Yeah, and I think what it's going to do is it's going to modernize the game a little bit more, and there's going to be a new set of thinking. There's going to be new analytics, and I think that, I hate
analytics.
I know you do, but at the end of the day, I don't see it overly changing. And I mean, if it's going to speed up the game by a half hour, that's good for the younger generation. And obviously, we are not part of that generation anymore. Right. We're getting a little bit older, but this is the one that I want to spend a little bit more time on, because the defensive shifts. All right. The defensive team must have a minimum of 4 players on the infield, with 2 infielders completely on either side of the base. So, I mean, that's going to eliminate having all 4 on one side, or any of the crazier ones that we've seen on there. And the 4 infielders must be within the outer boundary of the infield while the pitcher is on the rubber. Infielders may not switch sides. In other words, a team cannot reposition its best defender on the side of the infield. The batter is more likely to hit the ball. If the infielders are not aligned properly at the time of the pitch, the offense can choose an automatic ball or result of the play. The rule does not preclude a team from positioning an outfielder in the infield or in the shallow outfield grass in certain situations, but it does prohibit 4 outfielder alignments.
Yep. I kind of like this, other than the 4 outfield alignments. If you want to leave a spot open on the infield to put another guy somewhere else, have at it. It's in my head. But I kind of like it. As long as there's not a line drawn from the point of second base into center field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so the baseball diamond all of a sudden looks stupid.
Yep.
As long as they're not doing that, the guys can be, what is it, like 6 inches, whatever. So like they're gonna shift. They just can't overshift.
Yeah.
Which going into next year, you're gonna have a lot of left-handed hitters have a lot more hits.
Exactly.
And be able to have a more normal approach at just hitting the ball hard, instead of trying to, I can either go to the third base side, or I have to hit it out of the park.
Yep.
Guys like Kevin Biggio, Joey Votto, like they're going to be helped. Anthony Rizzo, like they shift him. Like, so that's, I think that's part is going to make the game better. It's going to make the hitters better. And I honestly, I think that's going to make pitchers better, because pitchers have to, if your team is overshifting, a pitcher has to pitch to that overshift.
Yep.
And I watch the Jays a lot. I've seen the Jays shift themselves into losses this year.
Yeah.
So I don't mind this rule, as long as it's not overly like silly done, I guess, like no lines. I don't want a line between second and there.
Yeah, there shouldn't be.
No. I do kind of like the 4 outfielder thing. If you want to leave a player out of the infield, you're giving up a chance for a hit. If you want to have 4 outfielders in certain situation, cool. If they're not going to allow that, tis what tis. This is probably a good rule for baseball.
Yeah, no, I like it too. I mean, there were so many times you just see that. And I mean, the percentages over the years have just been outrageous, with everybody adapting the shift, from the early on to pretty much everybody doing it. And like you said, the analytics, they know that this guy's going to go here. It is a little bit mind boggling. And one thing that, a lot of people say is like, oh, they make millions of dollars. They can't bunt or go down the other way. And it's like, well, there's part of that, but now the pitchers knowing that, hey, you don't want to pitch outside at all. You're not going to give them a ball that they can bunt, and you're going to throw so inside that like you said, it's going to make the pitchers better, because they're going to have to go outside again. They're going to have to mix things up.
They're going to have to learn to pitch a little bit, but I think these pitchers know how to pitch.
Yeah.
Some of them have been their pitching has been taken away. Like the team's like, well, the analytics, well, you can't throw your fastball anymore. You need to throw
this cutter.
Only curveballs or cutters to this guy, because we're going to shift them.
Yep.
And the pitcher's like, what? Like Jordan Montgomery, now with St. Louis, like he likes his fastball. He's in St. Louis, and they're like, dude, use your fastball. And New York, they cut him down on his fastball.
Yep.
And so I think that this is going to help the pitchers. Actually,
I agree. Yeah, and I'm all about that. And then the last one is the bigger bases. This one doesn't really affect I don't, not that I don't care about it, but they're going to be 18 inches instead of 15. I mean, they're saying it's going to have a huge impact on stolen base success rate. It's 3 inches,
3 inches, right? And I mean, they'll continue to say that because of the rules they have. So they're going to be more stolen bases. They're going to say, yeah, the bases helped. Whatever. The bases, other than Altuve, who might trip over one, because it's up at his knees. Like, they're not making it bigger. I'm just joking. But like, the diamond is not an exact diamond anyways. The 18 inches is just they're just trying to tweak that. It's not that big of a deal. I don't think anyone is going to be overly upset about this. Second baseman, shortstop, they're used to changes. This is just gives them more room to not get hit.